Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om to one and all. Hari Om. What a lovely morning today is. In Switzerland, it was raining for the last whole week, and today once again it has become bright and clear. Today's session, as you have already read in the message, it's going to be a recap revision for what we've done up till now. And the second half, we will be having a dialogue between us, whether you would like to call it question and answers, or whether you would like to say it in this way that we are putting some thoughts in front. But this is what we are hoping to achieve. The basic considerations for one to study are four. This is what we have been covered in the last two sessions. The first is, what is this study about? Whenever we take up any study, embark on a new subject, you should know what is that topic. This is the first consideration about all studies. And this study that we are conducting is no different. So, the topic. What is the topic? Vedanta. A little bit we had spoken about it last time. But what is the moot point of Vedanta? What does Vedanta try to tell us exactly? It indicates towards the permanent. It indicates towards the permanent. So what is this study? The study is Vedanta. And what is the main point of Vedanta? That it indicates to the permanent. Naturally, the person who is trying to understand this, he has to have some qualifications. Not everyone can understand all the subjects. You have to have an aptitude towards it. So what are the requirements of this study of Vedanta? One of the most important thing is that the person has to have a burning desire to know the truth. He has to have that burning desire and feeling that, I must somehow know what is permanent. We had used a word for this student, this kind of student. Mumukshu. Moksham ichchati iti. The one who wishes to understand and be one with that truth. That truth that we speak about, tattva, truth. What is the epitome of that? The oneness or the identity with that reality. That the reality and me is not two, but one. This is the basic requirement of a student who wishes to study this. Then, why is this study conducted? Why is this study conducted? There is only one reason. There is no other reason for this. What is that reason? What could that be the reason? To assist to guide, to show the path to that mumukshu, to show the path to that mumukshu who wants to know that Vedanta. This is the very important aspect, that the student who wishes to reach there, he must know the path. And finally, the fourth aspect. What is the importance of this study? Why this study? I mean, there are so many online lessons, online gurus. There are hundreds and thousands of books. There are thousands and thousands of videos from which you can try to understand on your own convenient time, in your own convenience. Then why should we study this particular study that we are taking? What is the importance of this study that we are doing? Because this study is going to show us the connection, the real meaning of yoga, what we call as yoga, to connect, yuj, to merge, to connect, that this is that study with which you will, who? The mumukshu. Who? The mumukshu will reach the goal. What is the goal? Vedanta. What is the indication that Vedanta does? Is that the permanent and you are not two but one. You see how all four are aligned, and these are the basic consideration which Shastra says that before embarking on any study, especially the study of Vedanta, one should understand clearly. Now, in these four, if any one of us feels, no, my interest is not this is not what I want to go for, then this is not the study for you. The whole reason that we had one introduction session and then one session whereby we explained that what this study is about, who is a person who should be reading or studying this with us, why is this study conducted, and finally, what is the importance of this study. This is clearly explained in the last and the previous session. And about these four things that we have spoken, this is where I would like to open our discussion today, our dialogue between us. If you call it question and answer, I have no problem. But this is the intention of this class, today's session. Topic: a fit aspirant, the reason study is conducted, and why the study is important. These are the four considerations that we are trying to understand today, or I'm trying to get a feedback from you all.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, will you please first announce your name and then we'll be happy.
So my name is Aditi Agarwal, and thank you for hosting these sessions, sir. I'm looking forward to the upcoming ones. So my question is, as a student of Vedanta, what motivated me to start this study was to better understand what is my purpose in life and how can I go about discovering it, and what is the methodology that I should be following in order to be able to conclusively follow through on my purpose. These were the three things that motivated me to start this study.
Okay.
Whatever little I have started reading has only led me to have more questions than answers. So when do we start arriving at answers in as part of the study? That's my question.
Fantastic. If any one of you all have some answers to her or similar queries, then you could, if your query also matches with her, then you can just say, yeah, it is something which we wanted to know also. And if you feel that you have understood something in the last 2 sessions, then you may answer Aditi. So Aditi's question principally is that someone is speaking. Uncle is speaking. Yes, Uncle. Parekh Uncle, I can't see you. There you are. Hari Om.
The study of Vedanta, as in last 2 sessions, which we had given, is I think it points out to cause of all effects, and there are 4 propositions which you said last time. That is Viveka, Pratyaks, Anuman, Shraddha, and burning desires to find out the truth, that is Mumukshu. So I don't know whether Aditi's answers remain in this. I mean, is there in these 4 propositions?
It's a question to Aditi.
Sir, I'll have to go through each of the 4 points, Vivek, Pratyaksha, Shraddha, and to better understand if it lies there, the answer lies there. What I have understood till date has only been that it is an intangible and it is not real. So, I mean, whatever we perceive as being real is not so. So, I'm still in that phase of understanding what is real.
But here I will just try to put this. Aditi is saying that she has understood that it is unreal. She's saying unreal, the world is unreal, you mean? Yeah, but this is not what I have said. I have said it is impermanent. Yeah, there is a huge difference. Unreal and impermanent is 2 different things. So this is where, you remember, misinterpreting. So sometimes we hear something, but our mind understands something and then we speak something. Maybe she didn't want to say unreal. She may have wanted to say impermanent, but many a times that thing comes on our tongue which is uppermost in our mind. Therefore, it is very necessary that we need to speak it out. Only when you speak your thoughts, that your thoughts get clear. Try to understand. One is thinking. Thinking is required. But you know what is happening today? This is called manthan. Don't worry about these words. We will come on in the next few sessions. Every word will be explained. Manthan meaning and dialogue. This is not argument. It's a dialogue. Samvada, manthan. Yes, coming back to Aditi's point, Uncle, Parekh Uncle, Dr. Uncle has said this, that the last 4 points that we had made in our talk, have they given some clarity to Aditi? Aditi said, I'll have to revisit them. And this is a very, very good way of reflecting. Yes, when this query comes, you must revisit to your study, not to internet. But what does internet say about this? Let me cross-check with that book that I had read before. What this will do is, the context in which it has been said will change. Let me come to any book. You pick up any book. Every single book is written from a particular mindset and a particular viewpoint. Like so beautifully my wife explained this to me this morning, that viewpoints may be many, but as long as you are talking at the same point is very important. The point should remain the same. And this is where that slight word difference which Aditi made, that the world is unreal, where the point is completely changed. The world is not unreal, that I have said. I have not yet said that. I have said that the world is impermanent. And this changes the complexion of the question completely. Now to answer Aditi from my point of view. Yes, Aditi. Confusion is what we always start with. If there is no confusion in your mind, that means your mind is not working. The mind is supposed to be confused. Only when there is confusion, there is an uncomfortable feeling that what is the solution? It's like, so long as you don't have a thorn in your foot, you don't look at your foot, my foot, so nice foot, good foot. We don't do anything like that. That privilege is only for our face. So nice. Every morning we wash it, we brush it, we cream it. But when there is a thorn in your foot, you will not look at your face. You will immediately, with all your attention, go to the foot. Why? Because it is something foreign, something alien, something which is not natural to you there. In the same way, when confusion comes to the mind, it is not natural. It's a foreign thing. It's an alien thing to your mind. Understand this. The mind wants only peace. The natural nature of mind is calmness and peacefulness. When calm and peace is together, what comes naturally? Calmness and peace. What comes? My son-in-law is saying clarity. How nice. Happiness. My wife is saying happiness. Correct. Happiness. Happiness is the result of calm and peaceful mind. And so long as this confusion is there, you can never be calm and peace. And therefore, when this confusion arises, you must search the answer for that confusion. And for all the confusions of the mind, wisdom is the only solace. You need to contemplate on what you have understood. Then you need to speak it with like-minded people. And then you need to ponder over it again. Then it gets cleared. So in the future sessions, definitely your confusions will be clear. However, please note down the confusion as they are there. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. It's a very necessary aspect of our studies. Good. So I think it was a very, very good point which Aditi picked up. If there is anybody else who have some point, Udyanji, Upasna, Parek Uncle, Angelica, Cloud, Hana, anyone, Chitraji, or from here, my family, if they want to.
The causes of agitation.
Causes of, my wife is asking, what are the causes of agitation? Although it is not in the purview of these four, but we can pull it to the second aspect, fit student. She asked, what are the causes of agitation? So let me pull you to the aspect number 2, a fit aspirant. Let me coin a word for you. It's a Sanskrit word called Adhikari. We will explain about this later. Adhikari, a fit aspirant. Who is a fit aspirant? Who should learn? A fit student a competent student, a mumukshu, one who wants to know the truth. Mokshum ikchati iti mumukshu, meaning the one who wants to liberate himself, has the burning desire to liberate himself from what? In our case, confusions. In our case, right now, in this context, what is liberation? What would be liberation of Aditi? The liberation for Aditi would be from these confusions that are there. So, what makes confusion come in your mind? When your mind starts thinking. A non-thinking person will never be confused. And if somebody says, "Oh, I am not confused," that means he has already received moksha in that particular topic. Like for example, I may not be confused about my speaking of my today's session, but I may be terribly confused about taxation because I have got very little knowledge about it. Confusion is a base requirement to study further. But many people, when they are faced with confusion, they say, "Let it be, it is not my cup of tea, let it be, I don't want to understand," and they walk away from it. But when we are speaking of Vedanta, confusions about something that we've already heard just in the last few sessions, what you need to do is note it down. So the reason confusion comes, Rajshree, is because you've heard something which you partially understand. And your mind, because of previous knowledge, previous understanding, when that previous understanding and what you've heard, they don't match, they go opposite. For example, religion and science. Religion cannot be science. Science cannot be religion. I know about this. What happens? Confusion. Because something that you knew, science, I know what science is. I also know what religion is. But in the last session, he said about that Hinduism is not a religion, it's a science. How can it be? This is the cause of confusion. So when a statement which is made or something that you have heard now, a knowledge that you've come to know, and the knowledge that is there before, when these two things come together and they are not compatible with your old knowledge to the new knowledge, confusion arises. I hope that you are able to get it. But what is confusion in other words? It is also called as grief. And as beautifully Gurudev has put, grief is a state of a mind created by the absence of objects of one's liking. Grief, confusion, is a state of mind created by the absence, in our case, absence of that clarity. Absence of that, why am I not able to clearly understand this? I don't think it is like that. That confusion that is created of one's liking, because you may have not liked something that I said, or it may have been opposite to your original knowledge. What you think it is like that. So that creates a confusion, or we call it grief. But I have a query to all of you all. It's a very, very simple query, which I would request all of you one by one to answer this according to what you wish to understand. In this 4, what I said, what is the importance of the study? Why is the study conducted? I'm going the reverse order. Who should learn? And what is the study about? In this, one thing I want to hear from you all, one after the other, that who should study this, or a fit aspirant, who should learn? what do you think according to what you've understood? Please, I think since Aditi is on the screen first onto my left, will you say Aditi? Yeah.
So you mentioned that the Adhikari, who's the fit aspirant, should have a burning desire to know the truth.
Yes.
I think that is what is stated
Open the same.
out of the definition you gave earlier. Yep.
A person, a student with burning desire for mumukshu or a mumukshu. Okay. Okay. In the next is actually Udayanji and Chitraji. Would you, one of you, one after the other, would you say something?
I completely agree with Aditi. I think everything else to my mind is secondary. You have to first have a desire to know. Unless you have a desire to know, everything else falls in. It doesn't really matter. If you don't desire to know, then it doesn't work.
Excellent. So, two of you all have said, yes, mumukshutvam, that desire to know that makes one eligible for this study, because that is the one thing. If that is not there, then how can we even want to move ahead? How about Chitraji? What do you feel, Chitraji?
For me, of course, desire to know, and that has been there for a long time. And we're grateful we got this opportunity. But right now, I'm so confused. So for various reasons that, we all have phases in our lives where we go through so much. Right now, the phase I'm going through, I have lots of confusion in my head. And I'm looking forward to from moving from a little level of detachment from impermanent to a little towards permanent. And that is
Ma, beautiful. Ma, you are already saying so many brilliant things which are a clear indication to me that your mind is already started unwinding those guthi, jisko hum kehte hain Hindi mein. The confusions are slowly opening up. These are brilliant words that you have used, Amma. So I have to completely agree with you also. Coming to our family over here. Angelica, if you would want to start.
No, Ananda wants to start. I have a question. You talked about...
Anna has a question.
Yes. You talked the last session about cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
And you made really clear explanations oder Beispiele, explanations from exemplation from milk to butter and then to ghee. This I can realize really good. And then I ask myself and I ask you, what is the cause from milk? Because milk is the cause from butter. Butter is the effect from milk.
But what is the cause of milk?
Yes, and then I understand it that all the courses are Vedanta at the end. Before milk, there's the cow, and inside the cow, there's the grass into the cow. And then and I have a feeling that all is connected, and that is connected with Vedanta. And I want to ask you if you can explain at this, was heißt Beispiel?
Example.
At this example, when we go further from ghee to butter to milk, then to...
And behind that, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. For me, it's more easier with this example.
Exactly. Thank you, Hannah. So the reason for examples is this, that when a concept is spoken with an example of our day-to-day life, we find it easily to relate. We find it easy to relate. That's the reason why I give examples. And as you said, that the milk is the cause, next is the butter, and then next is ghee. And in the reverse order if we go, so we come to milk, then what is the cause of the milk? I understand. This was just an example, but as you very correctly then further said, that if you take milk or anything that we look around as a preliminary cause to start something, but there has to be a deeper cause. Now let me ask you this question, all of you, about this only. This is the body, whom I call me, Jagdish. If I think, what is the cause of this body? Immediately comes my parents. That my father and mother, they are the cause because of which I am here. Then we'll ask, oh, then what is the cause of the father and mother? Then say, oh, because they got married, they came together. But when you think deeply, a little more, that can just a material create itself? For example, I have a beautiful, can I have this? Mud pot. It's heavy. Thank you. Mud pot. Clay pot. Can clay from the ground on itself create it? No. There has to be an efficient cause. Somebody to make that mud into this pot. But one will say, oh, but without the mud, the pot cannot be. Correct. Correct. So what is the mud? The material cause. What am I or the person who makes the pot? The efficient cause. Because of the efficiency of the person, mud potter, that mud transformed into this beautiful thing. In the same way, no doubt, my mother and father are the reason why my body is, but they are the material cause. What is that efficient cause? What we connect ourselves with is my father, my mother, my child, my wife, my son-in-law, my brother, my sister, my friends. They are all my relations. In relation to me, they are that. In relation to this body. But then what is inside this body which makes it function? When that thing, the efficient cause, leaves this body, these fingers don't move. The eyes don't flicker. The eyeball will be there, but there is no scene. That efficient cause is the cause of all causes. And our study is about that. To find out what is the cause of all cause and how to reach there, how to understand that. Just like science. I mentioned this last time. When we ask this question to ourselves, what is science? There are many explanations about science. Somebody also told me, science is that which makes minimum input and maximum output. I've heard this. Minimum input and maximum output. But I think that is technology. That is technology. Science. That which makes you understand about something in a very, very systematic order, chronologically, where you have to first first have an idea, a hypothesis that this could be like this. Then with that systematic system of following what we call as experiments, you organize your apparatus, you organize a table, you put all those things together, then you get those things together, then the materials are put, and maybe fire is put or sunlight is put. Then you stand back and observe, and that those observations are taken as data. Then you observe, then something else comes out. That what comes out again has been recorded down. And then you see, I hit the target, it is not like this. I think slight modification will help. Then you start again. Then you start again till you reach the goal. A systematic study of something. This is exactly what Vedanta is. We have an understanding that there has to be something permanent. Because I always want to have something permanent. And the permanent that I want it comfortable and it should be happy. Nobody over here wants to be permanently in jail behind bars and unhappy. Anybody? Nobody. Nobody wants to be permanently in pain, permanently unhappy. No. We want permanency, but that permanency has to be happy. Ananda. Yes, blissful. Therefore, there is this innate desire in every human being to have that permanency. So already there is this thought. Vedanta just tells us that perfect step-by-step methodology to reach there, to understand that. Therefore, it is called a science. And when we follow these steps, we reach that goal. This study is about those steps. I hope, Hana, that something has, that I said, something has gone inside. Very good. Nice. Cloud is also showing his thumb. If any one of you will have anything else, then I'll listen. Otherwise, our time is already up, but I don't mind continuing. But if you have something else to add, then. Okay, so let me tell you one statement and then we will wind up our session today. Yes, Mumukshu is a person who has a burning desire to know the truth. In Vedanta, Vedas, that truth that we talk about is liberation of the bondage from ignorance. I'll repeat. Vedanta aims for the liberation from the bondage of ignorance. So the question is, what is that ignorance? The ignorance is of who I am. I'll repeat.
In order to understand freedom, one has to understand bondage.
I will say that. Who am I? Like the example in the first session given. A lion cub who is born inside the zoo will never know what is real freedom of the jungles. But the lion who was caught, apprehended and pushed into that cage where he just turned very madly and he was so unhappy about it. Then he was pushed into a jungle, from the jungle into a cage and then put into a museum so that people can come and amuse themselves by looking at it. A zoo. That lion knows what is the burning desire. Because he has tasted that liberation before. He has tasted that liberation. So till the time you don't know what your bondage is, how can you know what is liberation? This is the reason Vedanta first shows us that what we are right now, what we take ourselves to be, and then it tells what you are. And of course, it is a journey to yourself, by yourself, with yourself. There is no second person. It is a journey which is within. It's an experiment, not with things, but with your own self. Therefore, it is called the knowledge of self, self-knowledge. With these few words, let me take a Madhya Viram, and I promise, Chitrama, that in the next coming sessions, you will find a lot of answers. A lot of answers. But before we leave, let me read what today's statement of Gurudev is. I read it from the calendar that we have, which I hope that I can, send one to all of you all, if it is possible for me to get it. It's a beautiful thing. I'll just read it for you. Without spiritual stamina, no one can stand up to the threats and onslaughts of circumstances in life. Circumstances keep changing. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for better. But they are all temporary. Because we live in a temporary world. Impermanence is the factor with which this world is built. With these few words, let me take a Madhya Viram, and I'm so eagerly waiting to see all of you next week. Please join me for the invocation. Even if you don't know the whole invocation yet, but we can chant Om together and then I can continue. Once again, I can't thank enough to that Lord, to the masters who have given us this knowledge in an unbroken succession, parampara, and to our parents who have made us this, who has given us this ability, this body, this mind, so that we can embark the journey. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om to one and all. Hari Om. Bye bye. Bye Udyanji. Bye Chitraji. Hari Om to everyone. Hari Om. Bye. Bye. You say it so nicely. Hari Om. Bye. Bye, Kaksha.